Like that's when they
How
start
old
really
are the
getting.
girls you're dating? Because typically, if you date like a younger girl, like 18, 19, 20, 21, they're almost always into it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm not like if I'm like 30, I'm not dating an 18-year-old girl. Like to me, that like I get it. Like there's a lot of guys that are like, yo, that's like my thing. But like for me, like it's just like way too young. Like I need at least like 24 up.
Oh, I don't date girls that are older. Typically, avoid that stuff. I want to date younger girls for the simple reason that, I mean, now that I'm married, like
Hmm.
before I married, I was dating younger girls because, they are marriage material, right? Let's say you date a girl for 2 years, she's 19, you met her when she was 19, then she's 21, you get married to her at 21. But if you
Right.
date a girl when she's 25, you date her for 2 years, but then what? Are you going to marry a 27-year-old? No. So, I mean, it doesn't work out, right? That's why I've always dated younger girls, prefer to date younger girls.
Okay. I've done it before where I was like 28. The girl was like, I don't know, like 21, which isn't that young. And she was like attractive, but there was just like nothing to talk about besides like, I don't know, like she was like into like TikToks and like social media trends and stuff. I'm like, okay, this is kind of like killing my vibe right now. So I get it though. Like from the biology argument, like 18 is like the prime years. But like from my perspective, like if I'm 32 and I'm dating an 18-year-old girl, this is a girl that's like fresh out of high school and like she's just entering college. She's a freshman in college. It's just like I don't know. It's never been my thing, at least.
I've
When I
always
was eight,
enjoyed it. It's like one of those
yeah,
light-hearted things you can do with girls that, I mean, you can just have fun and not do anything intellectual.
I've actually gotten like the opposite experience, bro. Because these girls, I've noticed they're like really opinionated, but that opinionated stuff is not grounded in reality. Where some of them, like, yes, you're right, like they're like very pure, all of that stuff. A lot of them, they're like super social justice warrior. They like are like anti-capitalist. They're like all of this stuff, and it's like like when someone's like wisdom is quiet, ignorance is loud. They're very loud, and I'm just like, like this girl's like already irking me a lot. So that's been like a couple of my experiences. But you're
I've
saying
had
they're
that
like
experience before. Here's
yeah.
my take on it though. A lot of times, right? A lot of these girls, they don't actually believe everything they're saying. They just say it because everyone around them says this type of stuff and they want to be accepted by everybody. But if you make it sound okay to not say that type of stuff, she will typically follow in the sense that, like, I'm not a feminist, of course, but I am extremely sexist in everything I say. And I've had a lot of girls be like, hey, you're very sexist. And
Hmm.
I will say something like, I'm the fucking king of sexism. And there's no one more sexist than me. I mean, I
Right.
deserve to be like the king of sexism, the spokesperson of all women.
Hmm.
And, they're going to assume it's a joke at first. But you do it 2, 3 times, and then either they just, disqualify themselves, they just leave, like, oh, fuck it, I'm out, I'm not gonna date you. Or they just accept it, okay, fine, he's like this, Harsh is like that. It's one of those flaws in him, and then it's okay. I mean, it's not a big deal. You can disagree. Typically, girls will change their minds. I mean, I have turned quite a few girls from feminists to not being feminists. Some of them
Right.
actually learned to cook to date me. So I think that
That is
just
possible.
because
Yeah.
they open as feminists doesn't mean they truly are feminists.
Yeah, my thing is like, if I'm trying to hook up, like what your life philosophy is, doesn't matter to me. But if I'm trying to invest in a relationship, I'm not trying to like teach too much in the beginning stages. Over time, once I've like made it official with you, I'll teach you more about how it's like to be like a adult. That's why I think the guy being a couple of years older than the girl is always ideal. I don't really know if guys should get with girls older than them. So I think when the guy's older, they could always like bring the girl to a more adult like state. But what I don't want to do is like change like core radical philosophies and basically make you unradical. Like that's not something that I'm trying to do, especially because I have other stuff to do in my life. And in addition to that, you could make them unradical, but chances are they have other 18-year-old friends who have been like in the college system. The college system is now making folks radical day and night. So you're basically doing your job, and then you put them back into society. They're interacting with their friends who are 18 to 21, and it's just like undoing a lot of your hard work. And it's just something that I'm like, forget it. I'm not really trying to get into this right now. Where I noticed like that shift in thinking from 23 to 24, where girls like really trying to get married. At least here, like girls that are 18 are not trying to get married. So you got to really ask yourself as a guy, what do I want? Do I want to hook up? Then it's whatever. But if I'm trying to get married, I got to actually find someone who's like open minded towards that. Where I
What you
think,
say makes sense, but
yeah,
I'm telling you, it's
because from
much
your
better to date younger girls.
disagree, yeah, I would disagree with that. I mean, 18, like you think like a I see this as a red pill talking point, but I don't know if like a 35-year-old dating an 18-year-old girl, at least in the West, is the smartest decision. Because I don't think an 18-year-old girl that's in society where your girl, she was like you said she was kind of insulated due to her culture, right?
Yeah, but then I wasn't 35, right? I was like
No, no, you weren't
27.
35. Yeah, you were 27, but like, um, but your girl overall, like she was in like this village growing up, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
See, then I can see it because she was also open to getting married. Right. Okay. So she was open to getting married. Where like if the girl is like young and she's not open to getting married, I think that's a very big risk to try to turn them into marriage material.
I see what you mean. I agree with a large bunch of what you said because I didn't realize that you were talking about 35-year-olds. But I mean, of course, if you're 35, you're not gonna get a lot of 21-year-olds, 20-year-olds want to date you. It's just how life is. You're gonna find some women who are like 25-ish at best, not a 20-year-old.
If you're an
But if you are
established 35-year-old guy, dude, you actually can get like a 21-year-old if you want it. Because now you have like the cars, you have like a apartment, like lifestyle, where other 21-year-old guys, like they're living in college dorms. So the 21-year-old girl is comparing other college dorm guys to this established 35-year-old. So if you're an established 35-year-old and you wanted to get 21-year-old girls, technically you can, at least here.
oh, there maybe, but here it's very, very difficult because there's a big social stigma attached to dating someone 15 years older than you. I mean, girls wouldn't want to do that. It really, really, people look down upon them for this because people know why they're dating this guy, right?
Oh, like the gold digger status.
Not the gold digger status. Like people know they're dating this guy is just trying to fuck this girl, and this girl's only dating him for money, and that kind of reduces that girl's perceived value. I mean, it takes away that excuse that I'm dating for love or something. So it's very raw and clear what's happening. So girls don't do that here. I mean, there's obviously exceptions, but it's not very, very common here. Here, like let's say you're a 35-year-old and you want to get married, you will probably have to look for girls who are 26 and above.
Okay.
There, I can see it happen.
Yeah.
I will say that I can say one thing though. If you're trying to get married, right, you have to understand marriage is about children. And if you marry, let's say you meet a girl when she's 27, I'm assuming that you want to date her for 2 years before you make the decision and pull the plug and get married. By the time you get married to her, you're gonna be 29. She's gonna be 29. And I'm assuming you want to stay married for a year before you have kids. So what? You're gonna have kids after she's 30. That means possible, happens all the time, but it's also not the ideal thing to do. Ideally, you want to meet the girl when she's 21, marry her when she's 23, have the kid when she's 24.
Right, right. Um, okay. Yeah, I could see that. Uh, Ideally speaking, but it also factors in like how many kids do you want?
The thing is that you can always choose to have fewer kids. You
Hmm.
can't increase it, right?
What's like the latest a girl can get pregnant? Just out of curiosity, or where
On
it's not
average, or do you mean
high
like
risk?
exceptional situations?
Yeah, like what's like the latest you can, as a girl, have kids without being like considered high risk pregnancy?
35, I think, like maybe 33 ish.
Okay.
35 and above are called geriatric pregnancies, where it's literally like senior citizen pregnancies. So and the risk for having autistic kids and everything is significantly higher.
Yeah, then like 21, but then you could also do it at like 24 to 25-ish, where nowadays a lot of people are getting engaged within a year if they found their partner and they're both marriage minded. You spend like 1 to 2 years like being a couple, traveling, whatever. And then by 26, 27, like you work on having the first kid. That's not considered high risk, is it? And if you want to have 3 kids,
It's
maybe by
possible.
yeah.
All I'm saying is that if you date a girl at 24, right, the
Mhm.
chances of her being a virgin are like close to zero. Not close to zero. I mean, it's very, very low, at
Okay,
least in
okay.
the West. So, I
Yeah.
mean, if you want to get married, right, you have some kind of standards. Okay, she shouldn't have been fucked by three different guys before. Like, you don't want that all that bullshit, right? Probably you want a virgin girl who is like cultured, traditional, and she's young, so she can have lots of kids and she learn from you, things like that, right? And
Yes.
you have like much better luck looking for that when she's 18, 19, 20 than if she's like 25, because if she's 25 probably she's gonna have been fucked by at least a few guys before. I'm not okay with that. I think most guys are not.
Right. No, no, that's yeah, that's like a different variable. Which like a lot of guys do prioritize for sure. Um okay, so how old do you think the guy should be if like he's like considering an 18-year-old person? 27?
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend an age gap more than say 20 years. So 27, 28, 30, maybe. Yeah, I'd say one thing though. It really depends on your culture, because in India,
Yeah.
like earlier, a 10-year gap would not be considered big. Like my dad is almost 10 years older than my mom. But
My dad is
nowadays,
12 years older than my mom.
nowadays, though, even 5 years is considered too much. Nowadays people want like 3 years, 2 years younger. But in a lot of countries, like 15, 20 years is not considered a big gap. Like in Thailand, 15 years is not a big deal.
Well, yeah, that's why you got to like focus on like what the location is as well. Where here like 15 years is considered a lot, but in Bangladesh, for example, it's not considered that much. I mean, my parents are 12 years apart. I know like my uncles and aunties, some are like 14, 15 years apart. No one bats an eye. Here though, if you're doing that, that's considered like kind of creepy. Um this is actually a very, very, very like polarized topic as of late, because it like got sparked up again when let me see. Have you ever heard of Dane Cook?
No.
1 second. Let me just see something real quick. Um, so Dane Cook is 50 and he got engaged to this girl that's 23. But chances are like, they were talking beforehand and apparently like they met at a party when she was like 17 or 18. So Dane Cook was like 40 something when they were initially talking. So it started like some conversation like, is what Dane Cook did creepy? And like there was some discussion from that. And after that, I've noticed like if you go on social media, that's a very polarized topic where like if it's like a 40-year-old guy dating 19-year-old girl, is that creepy? Yes or no? Some are making the argument like no, like after 18 they're legal, whatever they want to do, they want to do. Others are making the argument, it's a little creepy because of the difference in life experiences. So it's like a
See, it's
polarized
one of
debate.
those things where, you know, there's no right answer. But if these two guys are in the legal age to get married and they want to get married, I mean, why would you stop them? It's one of those things where, like, I personally think that two guys having sex is creepy as fuck. It's totally weird that being gay exists. I mean, that's fucking insane. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, putting your dick in some guy's ass? What the fuck is that? Like, I mean, personally, I think it's extremely creepy. But these guys probably will not think it's creepy. These Western Westoids, they're like, hey, this is perfectly normal. Like, guys having sex is normal. So it's like, if you are okay with guys having sex with each other, like some guy taking a dick in his ass, why do you have a problem with a 19-year-old girl having sex with a 40-year-old man? I mean, it's much more natural than what you guys are okay with. So,
This is one of those things where like societal thinking versus individual thinking is different. Society wise, I'm like, what they do is what they do. If it's after the legal age, then go ahead, do what you do. But if my daughter, a 19-year-old, ever bought home a 43-year-old dude, I'm gonna be grilling that dude. I'm gonna be like, what the hell? Like, what are you doing? So societally speaking, I'm like, do you, homie? But as a parent, I'm gonna be like, what the fuck? At least here, where over there, like I know, like I said, like age gaps definitely exist. A lot of like brown people, if you see, like if you ask them, like, what's the age gap between your parents, most are gonna at least say 8 to like 12 years. That's like seen as the norm. So I guess the cultures do play some sort of role in this as well.
It plays a huge role actually, because
What would you
think
do
of it
if
like
your
this.
girl,
Let's say that
if you,
everyone
yeah,
around you is
hmm
marrying girls her own age. If that's happening, then you'll probably start dating your girlfriend from like some kind of college or something. But if
yeah,
everyone around you marries a girl who's 10 years younger, well, then you won't date anyone around you. Like, I mean, the girl I'm supposed to marry is like 12 years old.
yes, yes, yes. I just can't picture like being like a 30-year-old guy, like my girl's like, hey, I'm going to prom. Like, do you want to come with me? I'm like, the fuck? The hell no. Um, what would you do if your daughter brings home like a 40-year-old guy and she's 19?
Yeah, that's not going to turn out well. Like, that's not something I'm okay with. It's one of
Uh,
those things, right? I think it should be allowed if someone wants to do it, but I don't think it's like the best decision to make.
yeah, it's different when it's happening to you. Um,
No, it's not that it's different when it's happening to me. In the sense, I'm not happy
or no,
for the
not just,
girl
yeah,
dating who's 40, the guy who's 40. I'm not happy for her. I
yeah,
don't think it should be illegal or she should be stopped from doing it. I don't think this couple should be broken up.
right,
But
right. It's
I'm
not a
not
personal
happy about
preference,
this. Like, I don't think it's like a good situation to be in.
right?
It's like I
It's
don't
just not
think prostitution should be illegal, but I don't want my daughter to be a prostitute.
right, right, right. It's like acceptable on a societal level, but that's not something that we want on a personal level.
Exactly. Like I don't want to do it, but if someone else wants to do it, let them.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Interesting. I wonder if there's any other like topics like that where it's like really polarized.
Man,
Probably.
nowadays everything is polarized. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
it's like